Hello, my name is Gift and this is Tectenum. In this lesson, we are going to cover the water sensor. We're going to learn how to use the water sensor, how to use it to measure water level, and in the end, we're going to simulate how the sensor works. Simply put, the more the water for instance, in a container, the sensor is put in, the higher the output voltage of the signal pin. Okay, so here is a photo of the water sensor, and as you can see here, these are our pins, and then these are traces, and we're going to talk about these traces. And so this is the part that actually goes into the water, and these are the parts where we connect to our Arduino. So as you can see, there are 3 pins on the sensor, and they have actually been labeled. So the one that has been written S is the signal pin, and this signal pin is an analog output pin that can be connected to one of the analog input pins on the Arduino. So this analog output goes to one of the analog inputs on the Arduino, as we will see on the circuit diagram. And then next to the S pin, there is a pin that has been here. When you look at your sensor, it has a positive. So this is the VCC pin that you connect to. So this is the VCC pin, and then this is the ground pin. So we have 3 pins: the signal pin, the VCC, and the ground pin. And then since we have a photo here, we could go through how this sensor works. So the more the water that you immerse the sensor into, the higher the output voltage in the sensor pin. So these traces on the sensor act as a variable resistor, and we can say that the resistance is inversely proportional to the height of the water. So if the height of the water is high, then the resistance will be low, and therefore we will have a higher output voltage. So the more the water, as I had mentioned, the higher the output voltage. Okay, so these traces, as I have mentioned, remember, they act as a variable resistor. So now that you have understood how the sensor works, I'd like us to look at the connection diagram, and then it's a little bit different from other sensors that we've worked with, so it's important that we go through that, and then we'll go ahead and simulate how the sensor works with the Arduino. So this is how the water level sensor will be connected, and like other sensors we've worked with, the VCC pin should be connected to the 5V pin, right? But in practice, for the water level sensor, this is a bit different, because when the power pin is connected to the sensor constantly, the sensor is electrochemically corroded, which shortens the lifespan of the sensor. So that's why we do not power the sensor full time, but so when we connect it to the digital pin, it means that we're not powering the sensor full time. So the sensor will only be powered when it's reading a value of the sensor. So for you to be able to only power the sensor when it's reading a value, you connect the sensor's VCC pin to the digital pin of the Arduino. Then we will set this pin to a high and a low before and after reading the sensor value respectively. So when you set it at a high, it means that when it's reading the sensor value, it will come on, and then when it's not reading the sensor value, it will come off. So always remember, on the water level sensor, just to ensure the longevity of our sensor, connect VCC to digital input pin, whichever that you use. In my case, I've used digital pin 2. So now let's look at the code, for how that will upload to our Arduino, and then later we'll look at the demonstration. Okay, so now we have our code for the water sensor, and so briefly we're going to define our sensor power at pin 2, as I had shown, and then our output from the sensor will be connected to analog inputs A0, and then we have declared a value and a variable int that will store the data of the water level, and then we've set D2, which is digital pin 2, as our output, and we have set it at low so that no power flows through the sensor unless when it is reading. So it starts at a low, and then serial begin is to initialize the serial monitor, and then so we get the reading from the function, this function, and we print it on serial print. Okay, so it just shows us the water level. Then you have a function down here that so this function, as has been written here, is used to get the reading, and so this just turns, we set the sensor power at high. Remember, it was at low, so you set it at high. It turns the sensor on, it waits for 10 milliseconds, and then it reads the analog value from the sensor. Then it turns the sensor off, and then it returns the current reading. Okay, so that's it for the code, and now we're going to connect our water sensor to the Arduino, and then we will upload our code, and then we'll simulate and see how it works. Okay, so now we have gone through our code. What you're going to do is compile our code, see if there are any errors, and then we'll upload the code to the board. So it has compiled, complete. Let us upload. Okay, now we have it's successfully uploaded, and we are going to monitor the output on the serial monitor. So I'm just going to open the serial monitor. So I'm just going to dip it in. So I've dipped it in almost all the way up. The water level at the moment is at around 480. So I'm going to lift it out of the water, the sensor out of the water, and as you can see, the water level is decreasing, and I'm going to dip it almost all the way out, and you can see the level is decreasing gradually. We are out of the water completely, and as you can see, the water level is 1 because there's still a little bit of water left on the sensor. And I'm going to dip it back in, and you can see the water level on the sensor is going back up. So that's how that's the operation of a water level sensor, and this basically just tells us the water in this cup, the level of water in the cup. So that's it about the water level sensor. We have learned how the water level sensor works. We've learned how to power the water level sensor, which is different from other regular sensors that we've worked with. Additionally, we have demonstrated how the water level sensor works, as we have just done now. And that's it for the water level sensor. So you can try out your water level sensors, see how it works. In case you encounter any challenges, you can write them on the description box, and we'll get back to you. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.